Longevity supplements are supposed to make you live longer, but there are some supplements out there that can actually have a negative effect on your longevity and make you age faster. In this video, I'm going to give you the top 5 popular supplements that actually make you age faster.
Do it!
Number 1 is going to be iron. So iron is an essential mineral. You do need iron for many processes inside the body, including hemoglobin production and tissue oxygenation. But in excess, iron has been implicated in atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. Iron in excess just becomes more susceptible to oxidative stress and inflammation. If you have too much iron in your body, then it's going to get oxidized, and that's going to cause more oxidative stress in the body, which causes liver damage, atherosclerosis, and heart disease. And when you look some of the epidemiological studies and clinical studies, then you do find an association between a positive balance of body iron and cardiovascular disease. So you should be very careful with supplementing with iron. Now, I do think that in some cases supplementing iron can be very beneficial, especially in cases of iron deficiency anemia, which is more common among women who have regular menstruation. Men, however, who don't menstruate regularly or they don't bleed either because of cutting themselves or anything like that. So in men, it's very not advised, in my opinion, to use any iron supplements, and it might be that they're actually getting too much iron because men primarily, they eat more red meat as well usually than women do, so they have already higher amounts of iron. So adding an iron supplement is definitely not advisable and will age you faster in excess. But if you actually have iron deficiency anemia and iron deficiency, then first of all, you should just increase your dietary iron intake, which includes red meat primarily. If that doesn't improve it, then you also have to look into copper status. So copper actually improves iron absorption and improves hemoglobin production. So without copper, iron doesn't do its job properly. So you need to make sure that you get copper as well. So you get copper from liver and you get the iron from red meat. So that's the, balance that you need to take into account. Number 2 is going to be NMN and NAD boosters.
Wait a minute.
So this is a bit very controversial, of course, because NAD boosters have become one of the most popular anti-aging longevity supplements over the past few years. Now, personally, I do take some NMN and some other NAD boosters pretty regularly, and I do think it has some positive effects on improving health span, improving circadian rhythm alignment, energy production, insulin sensitivity, and many aspects of longevity. However, if you take them in isolation, just alone, then they could have actually some negative effects on aging. So the reason has to do with how these NAD precursors can deplete your methyl donors. So methylation is a vital process for survival. Improper methylation patterns can cause cancer, heart disease, and accelerated aging. If you're too low in methyl donors, then your homocysteine levels are going to rise, which is a major cardiovascular disease risk factor. Taking NMN, nicotinamide riboside, or nicotinamide alone without any methyl donors will lead to the depletion of some of the key methyl donors like betaine. That's why when you are taking some NMN or something like that, then you should always pair it together with some of the methyl donors like TMG. Next supplement on the list is going to be pre-workout with caffeine. Of course, regular coffee consumption is associated with longevity and reduced risk of mortality, but that generally applies to regular coffee, not powdered caffeine, and definitely not pre-workout supplements. So yeah, there are some health benefits to caffeine as well, although it's not inherently health promoting. It does have some mitochondrial effects, or it does have like performance boosting effects, and it can help with some aspects of energy production for sure. But the issue is that the pre-workout supplements usually have just too much caffeine. The amount of caffeine in a dose of pre-workout is usually twice the amount of regular coffee. So just getting too much caffeine, and many people just double dose the pre-workout as well to get a good workout, etc. But they're just ending up getting so much caffeine in their system that it's gonna disrupt their sleep. It can raise too much cortisol. It can lead to the breakdown of collagen, which accelerates skin aging. So definitely powdered caffeine, even in the form of pre-workout supplements, isn't something that I definitely don't recommend. Other pre-workout supplements without caffeine are great, like the citrulline and other compounds in there can help with the workout a lot. But the caffeine isn't necessarily the healthiest component of that. And there are many case studies where just people accidentally consume powdered caffeine in too large amounts, thinking that it's creatine or something like that, and they just die to a heart attack.
Double dose in there.
Next supplement on the list is gonna be calcium, which is another essential mineral. And yes, dietary calcium intake is very important for preventing osteoporosis and just improving many aspects of overall health. Calcium supplementation, however, can also increase the risk of heart disease and cardiovascular disease, similar to iron, because it just promotes atherosclerosis and tissue calcification. And there are studies finding that supplementing 700 to 1000 milligrams of supplementary calcium can increase the risk of cardiovascular disease by about 15% in healthy postmenopausal women even. So women, when they go through menopause, then estrogen drops, then they might need some extra calcium, and supplementing calcium, if they're not eating any calcium from food, can actually be a good idea for sure. But they have to make sure that their calcium status is actually low. If your calcium status is already high and you're eating dairy on top of the calcium supplement that you're taking, then that might increase the risk of calcification. So similar to iron, make sure you get your calcium from food as much as possible, and the best sources of calcium from food are dairy and some vegetables and plants. If you do need calcium supplementation, then just make sure that you actually have a deficiency, and it's more likely that women, especially postmenopausal women, might need some calcium.
Can I have that Milky Way?
The last supplement on the list isn't necessarily a supplement, it's more like a herb or a spice, and cinnamon. So cinnamon actually, has a lot of benefits in terms of improving insulin sensitivity and even being a potential pharmaceutical agent for helping to treat type 2 diabetes through the effects on insulin sensitivity. However, all those benefits apply to Ceylon cinnamon, which is the healthy kind. Most of the conventional cinnamon out there that isn't Ceylon cinnamon usually is cassia cinnamon, which actually contains this coumarin, which can actually be very toxic to your liver and can cause some other health issues. So regular cinnamon that isn't Ceylon cinnamon generally is actually unhealthy for you, because it just contains these large amounts of coumarin that can have very bad effects on your liver. Most of the cinnamon supplements and foods out there have the cassia cinnamon, which is the one that has these high amounts of coumarin. Cassia cinnamon contains about 1% coumarin, while Ceylon cinnamon contains only 0.004%, which is 250 times less. So I do believe that cinnamon is a great spice. It can be very beneficial for blood sugar regulation and insulin sensitivity, but make sure that it's actually Ceylon cinnamon, not the cassia cinnamon. And if it doesn't say that it's specifically Ceylon cinnamon, then chances are that it's cassia cinnamon, because it's probably cheaper and it definitely causes more damage to your liver than the Ceylon cinnamon, which doesn't cause any liver damage. If you do want to slow down aging and live longer, then I am looking for more people who want to reverse their biological clock. If you're interested, then email me the word health to info@siimland.com and I'll send you the details. But other than that, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to click the like, subscribe, notification bell as well. My name is Siim. Stay optimized, stay empowered.